And that's it. We're on.
Morning, everybody. How are we this bright, beautiful day?
It's an amazing podcast for a Sunday morning. I don't think this thing.
I think the viewers should decide whether it's amazing. I don't think that's your call.
I know it's amazing because we've got Neil Giller on as special guest this week.
Oh, I see what you did there. Well done. Blown it up. Hello, Neil. How are you?
Morning. Do you know what? Every day is a good day above ground unless you're a tube driver. Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true.
Well, that's completely the premise of today's show is all about positivity. Brilliant. Because we've got the guru of positivity himself, Neil Giller. And there are it's been a particularly slow news week for the property industry. So there's not much to crow about there.
So you thought you'd bring me in instead to talk, yeah?
No.
Thanks, mate.
Not at all. We've been meaning to bring you in, but we wanted to bring you in where there is this air of positivity. And this week, at the end of this week, is the return of the conference season.
Oh, that is good. You are right. Yeah,
in-person conference season, which a lot of people thought would never come back. And it's starting to come back, albeit with its own little foibles. Everybody needs to have a lateral flow test and all of that stuff. But we are coming back, and that is a reason to be cheerful.
It certainly is there, yes. So we've got the fantastic Agents Giving Ball up on Friday. That's the curtain raiser, isn't it, as they call it there, swiftly followed by the Esters and EA Masters. I saw everybody proudly showing their invites for being included in the top 5%. And the usual amount of bitterness on there where, you just bought these awards, you can just buy your way in and everything else. The normal.
Neil, for those lovely people out there in property land that might not have come across you before, tell us a little bit about your background before I ask your opinion on awards.
You're going to get.
I know what I'm going to get. Yeah,
you're going to get total 100% honesty. But I want to touch on what you said there about the world opening up. The world never shut down. It was just a different world. Yeah. So everyone go back to. And if I do that again, come and kick me in the balls. Please. Going back to normal.
I'll reach out to you.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. But do you know what's normal? I mean, we've got 3 human beings on here now. I don't think any of us could hold the tag of normal. I know I definitely couldn't. So going back to it, I walked into a room full of 45 people on Friday, and the vibe, it was a networking do. I gave a little talk, but it was just everyone was looking at each other saying, "You're right for a hug." And you know what? The majority of the people were all right for a hug. Now, I know the judge and the probation officer told me last time to stop hugging people, right? But it's just nice to be back with people. It's nice to actually not that's rubbish. Simon, you're getting to a point where you're going to shake someone's hand and they're like, you're doing the Masonic touch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Weird.
So in answer to your question that you asked me, I'm going to make it really easy for your people out there, and they'll love it as well because they're of the ilk that they'll understand the language that I use. Everyone should have a catchphrase or a tagline or a strapline. And mine is I help my clients turn their can'ts into cans. Now, you can hear that how you want. The majority of people that I want to deal with hear it properly, right? So there are loads of can'ts out there. But there are many more cans. So if there's anyone out there in the big bad world, the ether, that's listening to us this morning, if you've got a lot of cants around you, give me a call. We'll sort them out and turn them into cans. So just give you
I told you were right to get him on this show. There's cants all over this place. I do love that. I love that, Neil, and I love your absolute zero tolerance to mood hoovers is spectacular and very warranted.
Okay, so I've got to tell you something, right? For anyone that doesn't know me, it's Neil Giller, right? You can catch me. I haven't got any pseudonyms. I don't call myself anything else. It's basically Neil Giller everywhere. So if you're going to come and join me, let me just let you into a little bit of a secret. If you're offended, am I allowed to say fuck off? Right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Right? Because sorry, I just did. I do apologize. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean, it's like this morning I put a comment up, and every single day I put a comment up on my feed, and someone came at me for the person who it was that made the comment. How dare you use their name? And we started conversation. You know, I'm not out to offend anyone, guys. Right? I'm really, really not. But if you get offended, go be offended. Go be offended. Go off with the other snowflakes. Go and enjoy yourself moaning about something that isn't worth moaning about. You know, Simon, you said it before. There's plenty of terminologies: mood hoovers, EastEnders watchers, neg ferrets. I've got loads of them. But my beautiful one is: you have a choice in life, right? We're all on here this morning. We're smiling and we're laughing. We could have come on with a dour. So we're all radiators in life. But there are so many drains out there, so many people sucking anything and everything from you because you know why? They ain't happy because you're being real. So people look at you. So I've seen you from afar, right? And that's how I want to keep it, Simon.
Yes.
Right? But you ain't the norm, are you? And there's going to be people out there that I call them fans, but there's going to be haters out there. Do you know what? The more fans,
we'll get to them.
The more fans we've got, do you know what? Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. And I'll say that with passion. Not everyone's going to like you. I'm cool with that.
Tom,
with that little intro to who Neil Giller is, you obviously have been pre-warned. He's going to speak his mind. Neil, you've been around in business long enough to know that there is a difference, isn't there, between one good review and a good reputation. There's a difference between an industry award that means the world to you, your family, your fans, and bullshit. So tell us, where do you stand on it?
Okay, I'm sitting down at the moment, so it's all cool. On a form, when they ask you what your position is, most people put managing director. I put sitting down or standing up. That really pisses them off. So, Kevin, lovely seeing you. Not a legend, leg end. You missed a little bit of a split there. Reputation, guys. Let me ask you a simple question. Simon, what's your reputation like?
What's my reputation like?
In a word, notorious.
Yeah,
serious question. Serious question. What's your reputation like?
I suppose it's pretty good.
Okay. Minty?
It's not for me to say.
I can tell you, Whaley's reputation is he's a bit in your face, but he's a good guy and he's got your back. And that's what everybody says about him.
Here we go. Your reputation isn't what you think it is. It's what people say about you when you ain't in the room.
Yeah, right? That's what I was going to say.
Fortunately, Simon, do you know what? You've paid David Mint enough money to say nice things about you. So do you know what? Pay him a little bit more and he'll carry on saying it. But that's what your reputation is. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. So you'll never ever know what your reputation is. So you can go out there and you know what? Be a people pleaser. Be an arse licker. Go out there and yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, 3 bags full. No. And as far I'm calming down on this one. Morning, Mr. Overman. You know what? Football side's aside, you're a pretty nice guy. But we'll leave that one be. See you next week at the Emirates. These awards, do you know what? They're fucking brilliant, aren't they? They really are.
I love them. I love it.
Whaley loves a good gong. He loves it.
It's just to put I am an award whore. I mean, I love everything about them.
Listen, I'm cool with that, but I find them. I'm going to use the word pretentious.
Isn't the key though, Neil, just not to take them too seriously? Isn't it? Isn't that you can still take pride in winning them, but if you get as you famously get up your own arse about it, that's where it starts to go wrong, isn't it?
You know, this ego thing, right? We've all got one, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
We've all got some. Some people, I mean, do you know what? I don't want to see. No, I'm going to rephrase that. There was a post that was made a couple of months ago and we all know him, someone that's got a beautiful brand new car. And we know that they've worked for that car. Yeah. They know that they're not showing it as saying, look how big my balls are. We know what they've done in the industry. Right. And then on the other hand, you've got someone who, a Richard Branson or a Jeff Bezos, I don't want to see what they've got.
Yeah.
It's glorification. So I'm okay if you're nominated. If you're nominated for an award, if you've participated in an award, but you know what? Paying 10 grand to get yourself an award so you can go out and get 5 grand's worth of business. I'm sorry, that's inflation of egos. And if that's what you want to do, I'm going to tell everyone out there, it's see-through.
But luckily, Neil, those I mean, there are those awards, but they're pretty few and far between here. I mean, the ones that are out there at the moment, famously EA Masters, you know, you don't enter it. Everybody is automatically entered. The Esters, you do enter it, but it's ultimately your clients that are voting for you. So, you know, there's a degree of kind of there's got to be a degree of verification and veracity around that. And then the only other one I'm aware of where you have to, you know, it slightly mixes it up now is the negotiator, which obviously you do put in a submission, but it is judged by, and it, you know, there's the whole judging process there. I think that I won't name them, but there are those ones where famously they are ringing you round, pretty much just saying, you know, if you turn up, you will win. But they're out of the big three. I think I don't think we've got that weakness in any of those really.
It's the same in every industry, isn't it?
It is, of course, it is, yeah.
You know, I mean, listen, some people look at me and go, you're a business coach, you're a life coach. Don't put me in a box. In fact, do me a favor, take the box and shove it up your ass. Right? I'm not here for any awards. What I'm here for is to make sure my client gets out of bed because they're suffering with depression.
Yeah.
To help my client win that £300,000 contract because they didn't have the balls to stand up and get it. To help my client turn around and understand that everyone in business is a juggler. And we're here to drop balls, excuse the terminology. Instead of dropping them, go and give those balls, excuse the terminology, to someone that's really good at them. And do what you're really good at, which is shining, selling, living, loving, doing podcasts like this, talking bullshit, getting on your soapbox. Self-glorification. We're all...
How do you start when you're talking about working with a client? What's the first steps that you go through to start judging whether a client is, I suppose, because famously people need to be coachable, don't they, if it's going to work?
2 questions and you hit it on the head. Let me ask you a question, guys. Are you coachable?
Because there's no point, is there? You can talk as much as you want, but if they're not going to listen and crucially do something with that information, then what's the point?
Surely everybody's going to respond yes.
No, they won't.
Nobody wants to be difficult.
I suppose that's self-awareness, though, again, isn't it, really? You know,
it's coming back to that reputation thing. Some people will blatantly turn around and say, no, I'm not coachable. So for me, why am I going to take a horse to water? I try with everyone. But you can't water every dead plant. So that's the first question I ask. Are you coachable? The second one is, you come and speak to me when you're sick and tired of your own bullshit. And I leave the conversation. Because the majority of us, hands up, sick and tired of my own bullshit. That's why I've got a mentor. We all know Stephen Brown, yeah?
Yeah.
You know what? When you speak to that guy, he brings you to where you need to be. He explains everything very, very clearly. That's one of my mentors in life. Sod business. And this is what we've got to sort out first of all, gentlemen. Sort your life out. Because if you ain't happy there, doesn't matter how much stuff you put up your nose or how much stuff you smoke or how much stuff you drink in your line of business, it doesn't matter. Because if you can go home, shut the door, put your head down at night and know that you've done the best that you can, that's what I'm in it for. So are you coachable? Are you coachable? And you come and speak to me when you're sick and tired of your own bullshit. Those are the 2 things that I need to know off of people. You know, I'm really lucky that I've got a myriad of skills and I'm not blowing my own trumpet. 30 years in business, networking and living by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And if you've never read it,
great book, yeah.
If you've never read it, Dale Carnegie was the first business coach, life coach, whatever it is, who's taught all of these. I'm going to be really nice. All these business coaches, you know, the ones that go out and buy a book or spend a fucking fortune, giving exactly the same information out than every other business coach. You don't go and buy a book. You live it. You have a bag of mistakes and you have a bag of good things that have happened and you share them with your clients. That's what a good business coach, life coach is. Honesty. So there's my answer to your question. That's how I go looking for my clients, Simon.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yes. Yeah.
So you very much have a desire and an appetite to work with somebody, and then you'll just go and have a chat with them to see if that.
There is no one that I work with, and I'm going to use a very big word here, and you can misconstrue or use it whatever it is. I love every one of my partners. They're not clients; they're partners. I love them. Yes, they pay the bills. Yeah, they put food on the table. But I love holding their hand and making sure that if they do fuck up, we're all right. We're going to live. And if they win, oh my God. I had very quickly, someone who didn't look after themselves. They were too busy giving it out to everyone else. And they won a massive contract, which was worth about 270 grand to their business. And I finished off that call. I turned around and said, what are you going to do for yourself? He went, what do you mean? I said, what are you going to do for yourself? And I had to drag him to the Tag Heuer shop to buy himself a Tag Heuer. And we're standing there looking at him, and he's looking at one for 1,500, one for 2,300, and one for just short of £3,000. And guess which one he chose? The 1,500 quid one. I went, which one do you like? Which one would you like on your wrist? He went, the £3,000 one. I looked at the salesman. I went, that's the one he's having. We've got to look after ourselves. We've got to give ourselves these little touches. And it's not about having a Tag Heuer. It's about getting your ass up and walking out and have a look in the greenery, going and having breakfast or lunch and dinner with your bestie. That's what it's all about. I hope I've explained what I do. It's all about upstairs, guys. It's all about upstairs.
Neil, your life throws you curveballs all the time, right? Your career path and you used to be in direct mail, and then at some point life threw you a curveball and you decided you were going to do something different. At what point did you sort of have that realization that this is what you wanted to do, or that this is what you were good at? Because you've always been involved in BNI networking and all of that, but this is another level, isn't it?
When I was a kid, and I'm going back to when I was 5 years old, my beautiful mum, who's my guru, I love her to bits and pieces, and my dad as well. I'm blessed to have two beautiful human beings that are called my parents. She reminded me of my two best friends, and I was 5 years old, and one was called Andrew Gunn, and he didn't have a hand or a foot. And the other one was Matthew Boreham, who was Down syndrome. Now, I joke and laugh. I was mates with them just to make myself look really good. The same one. But I made sure that no one beat up on these people. I made sure that they were brought into the community. Do you know what? Andrew couldn't play football because he had a dodgy foot, but we put him in goal because he could save goals with one hand. But Matthew didn't have a clue what he was doing, but we just stuck him in the middle, spun him round and hit him with the ball once in a while. But I've always been, you've got these people that are, I'm on a mission, Minty, and it's not from God, it's not from anyone. I'm just on a mission, and if I see someone that needs help, I'm going to stop and help them. Simon, your reputation. What's your reputation like? Go on. What did that say?
He just said,
Simon, what's your reputation like? Paul's never seen Simon lost for words before.
There you go, Paul. I've done it. You can start paying my bill next. You can start paying my bill next month. We do 2 sessions a month. I've won.
Neil, there's not enough of it as well, is there? That kind of that look. We'll just look that looking after people, that paying it forward approach. Because I am a big fan of that. That approach. Whether you call it karma or whatever else, you certainly, if you put it out there, you get it back, don't you? In spades is my firm belief.
1,000,000 times.
Yeah,
1,000,000 times. And you know what? And you've said it. You just said, I don't put it out there to get it back. Minty, you'll appreciate this comment. There's a lot of people in my line or my religion that tell everyone how much money they're giving to charity. You know what? I don't want to know. My parents always taught me, if you've got to tell people what you're giving to charity, shut up and stop giving. You know, there's lots of things that I do that people don't know about.
Mincy, cancel the charity update.
The big check, the big lottery check.
Here's the check.
Guys,
listen. What I love about that, Neil. When Prince died, you found out about. I mean, I didn't particularly like his music, but when you heard about what the fella did, and one of the absolute caveats that he gave when he was donating money was that his name couldn't and wouldn't be left out there. And I thought, look, I don't mind people knowing when charity's going on, but that approach is just something, it's just beautiful, isn't it, really?
One sec, I want to just sum this up. I threw myself out of an aeroplane about 4 months ago. The aeroplane was working as well. It was mad. And do you know what? I've never been so happy to have a geezer strapped really close behind me. Yeah, it's the one and only time. Don't get happy, anyone. Right? But I threw myself out of an aeroplane, and a couple of days before, one of my mentors phoned me up. He went, "You're a dick." I went, "Thanks, really appreciate that. Cheers, man. Is there anything else you want to tell me?" He went, "All the people that you know and you've helped and you give stuff to, why don't you go do a GoFund or whatever it is?" And he set it up for me. And it was for an organisation and this woman says that her son emigrated. He decided that this place was no better for him, and he didn't want to be here anymore. So her son emigrated, and it's the Ollie Foundation, which is fantastic. And I raised $2,000 by jumping out of an aeroplane. I don't want people to turn around and go, "Oh, he's raised $2,000, he's raised $2,000." What I want people to do is turn around and go, "What's the Ollie Foundation?" Yeah. Wow, man. That's 3 parents who have lost their kids. Oh. You know, that's what I want.
Yeah.
And it's not about how much. I'm not wealthy. You know, check this out. Define wealth. I woke up this morning. That's my wealth, my family. It's my daughter's 24th birthday tomorrow. Please God, I'll wake up to see it. And I'm not being dour. That's my wealth.
How do you start your days, Neil? Apart, you know, how do you get your head in the right place when you wake up in the morning?
All right, sorry, I can't divulge that. But how do I get my head in the right place? I do it the night before, Simon. I'm dyslexic, and it's not a sufferance. It's not a problem. It's just for me, short, sharp, and colour. So the evening before, 15, 20 minutes, however shattered or pissed off or aggravated or whatever's happened during that day, I'll sit there and I'll look at quotes, or I'll look at sayings, or I'll look at lines from a film, or short, sharp things. So in the morning I wake up, and the first thing I do is it's going to sound really, really mad. I just say thank you. I just say thank you.
Right? And who are you saying thank you to, Neil? Are you a religious man?
No, not in any shape or form. I'm saying thank you to me. I'm saying thank you to me. That I can get up, I can walk. Amen. Even after I play football on Thursday night at 50 years old. That's a Brucey bonus. I'd say thank you twice. And then I go down, chill out, get my phone out, and I pump that stuff out. And for those that follow me or don't follow me, any wallflowers or any snowflakes, don't follow me, because I'm going to swear once in a while, right? The only thing that I don't do is I don't drop the C-bomb. We don't talk about Christmas. I hate Christmas, right? So if anyone wants to talk about Christmas, don't even bother. No, all jokes aside, it's the only word I don't use. Everything else, if it offends you, go back to what we were saying before. I'm not here to offend people. I'm here for someone to look at the post and go, I'm feeling that today. Mental health for me, guys, is a massive, massive, massive part of my life and always has been.
Neil, do you think, just on that point, do you think that there's obviously a lot of sort of groups that have sprung up over the last year and so in particular. Do you think that the mental health state of most property professionals is in a worse or better place?
It's awful.
It's been bad, isn't it? And is that a trend down? You think is that, or is it always just been thus, and we just haven't really spoken about it?
I've always known. I mean, a lot of my friends went into the property business, and I know I have some really close friends that are in property, you know, and they crow when it's good and they moan when it's bad. I was sitting with a lot of pals last year. And it was someone's 50th, and one of them was moaning away, moaning, and I'm sitting in my head thinking, "You're an asshole." Right, and we all finished up and we walked out. And the reason that I knew he was an asshole was because he got into a brand spanking new car. And I knocked on his window and he opened his window. I went, "That's why I got a hairdresser's car." I'm not telling everyone what I've got because it's not important what I drive. But my boys turn around and say, "You got a hairdresser's car?" Yep, you're damn right I am. Talking about mental health in your sector, it's always been poor. Because let's go back to it. Some of that, loads of that, some of that, up, down, 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 up. That's life. You know what? If you look at the machine that's on your heart, the ECR, it don't just go beep, because if it does, you're fucked, you're dead. It has to go up and it has to go down. So every negative, there's a positive coming. For every problem, there's a solution. You know what? Talking about why I shut my business down and why I walked out of it. I walked out of it because my brother nearly killed himself 3 times through mental health. I walked out of it because the black dog came and visited me, which was the best day ever. Because it was another tool in my toolbox for me to help people in business, in life, understand that you're all right if you're broken. It's not all right if you fucking stay there. It's not all right if you're quiet. And there's loads of people, we know loads of people in business life who we've met. Here's a little tip for you, ladies and gents. Here's a little tip for you. When you ask someone how they are, it's an English colloquialism to turn, that was a big word, to turn around and go, "I'm all right." Ask them twice. Because the first time is the English colloquialism. The second time they'll think, "Why is he asking me twice?" Because he wants to know. Because he wants to know. You know, I did a gig a couple of months ago and it was on Zoom. And there was 90 people, 100 people, whatever. And I asked everyone to put their hands up. I'm going to ask you guys, who's got mental health in this room?
Everyone's got a form of mental health, haven't they?
Everyone's got mental health. If you're breathing, you've got mental health. It's how you deal with it or how it deals with you that's the massive difference. And you know, the stigma, I still believe is there.
Is it? Do you think there is? I mean,
yes, I do. I think people play the depression card. You know, it's in business. You know, you go to tribunals, and you know what? There's shit people at their jobs. Let's get real here. And all of a sudden, they pull the card. Well, we've never seen this card before. Where's this card from? You know, so we have to be very, very careful. Being a mental health first aider, which is something that I'm qualified. You know, it's the only other qualification. I've got 2 qualifications. Do you want to know what my other qualification is? Do you want to know what it is?
Bronze swimming certificate?
No. I was wearing my pajamas and I saved a brick. What was that all about?
Oh, thank God. I thought he was going to say he got a medal from Jim will fix it there for a minute.
He fixed it for me, all right? Don't worry about it. Listen, I milked the cow. Actually, I think it was the cow.
I got rejected.
Moving swiftly on. Tell us about
sure it was the cow. I'm sure it was the cow.
Nelly, but on that point, I mean, that's what we're finding these days, that everybody is trying to jump on that mental health bandwagon because it's extremely popular. And it's virtue signaling at its very best, really, isn't it? It's something that we can all get behind, regardless of race, creed, color, which way you swing. It doesn't matter. Mental health is something that affects all of us. My wife works in mental health and she lives with one. And I know we know that funding to mental health services is very low, but there's a lot of talk about it at the moment. There's a lot of noise. What makes the difference between something genuine and something, in your opinion, that is just hairdryer noise?
I think you look at all the companies that jump on it you know, and I've been into enough companies. I mean, I went into a company a year ago, and the managing director told me that all of his staff were arseholes. Okay, cool. Let's get a meeting with them, yeah? So the meeting was at 10 o'clock. I walk into a beautiful board room, BORED, and he's got his big grand poobah chair that no one sits on, and his PA that's been with him for 7 years. We're all there for 10 o'clock. He isn't. He isn't. So I told his PA to sit in his seat. I can't sit in his seat. Sit in his seat. Because if you don't, I will. So she sat in his seat and he walked on in. What? First words. What are you doing in my seat? I went, do me a favor, sit where you are. Right, you're paying me. You sit where you are. And now you're going to listen to what everyone feels about you. We want to talk about mental health. Some of those people worked for him for 8, 9 years. One person said, you've never said thank you. You've never said thank you.
Neil, are people like that rescuable though? Can everybody? We're going back to it again before. Can you do? Was he just unaware?
He was an arsehole. I'm
Did you get paid? Did you get paid?
What can you do with arseholes though? I mean, that's
okay.
another question. That
for every problem, there is a solution. Going back to what I said before, the guy ran the business. It was his business. He was the managing director. The girl who ran he was the managing director. The people who ran the business were there every single day. So do you know what we did? We sent him on a course. Do you know what course it was? A golf course. As in, fuck off and don't come in. The productivity went up. His staff were happy. Actually, there were less staff doing a better job turning the profit over, and he didn't have to go in. The only time he had to go in was once a month, which was the monthly meeting where he didn't run it. The PA ran it. Right? So there is a way of doing it, because you know what? Now that guy actually gets time to spend with his family, doing what he wants to do. He's loaded, the geezer. He ain't got any problems. He was making problems in his own business. So after that meeting, it was really difficult, because his partner, he was a partnership. His partner hired me, right? And there was always that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I choose my clients, Simon. I don't want someone coming to me saying, "You've got to deal with my MD," or "You've got to deal with my salesman." Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So can you change people? Sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you just got to remove them. Get out. What do you mean get out? It's my business. Get out. Let's see how productive it is for a month. I can't not be here for a month. Who's going to do this? Get out. Productivity. Boom. Staff.
And was he happy with that? Are people like that happy when you lift up a mirror and show them a version of themselves that the rest of the world see?
Are you coachable? Check this out, right? We had, and I'm going to call them kids. I'm 50 years old. We had kids from the age of 18, 19, 20 years old up to, it was a recruitment company, up to 40, 45 years old. He didn't allow them to have the radio on. You're not allowed to have the radio on. And when you do have the radio on, it's LBC, which is all negative and people moaning. No, we want a little bit of fire starter on. So the second meeting we went to in the boardroom, I put my tunes on. He didn't like that. He walked in and we're all sitting there going, I was a DJ when I was a kid. Yeah, you're pissed off with music? Let me show you how pissed off you're going to be with music. He walked into fire starter, which is what I use when I walk onto stage every time. Can you change people? They've got to want to change themselves, Simon. Minty, you know that as well. Come on, man.
Yeah,
we've got Jim Parker watching us, and Jim says, "Of course, there's a stigma to mental health. You're viewed as weak, which is why I don't talk about it. However, it helps me immensely to help everyone else and point them in the right direction."
Fill your own cup up, Jim. That last bit, you know. And I'm going to take you to a guy called Robin Williams, who made everyone piss themselves laughing.
Yeah,
no one knew what. Oh my God, what a legend!
Yeah,
No one knew what was going on there. We need people to talk about it. And Jim, I've got your name. I know who you are now. And for you to stand up and say that it's a sufferance, big props. Fuck the stigma. Excuse my French. Because in life and in your sector in particular, stop hiding with the brash fucking suits and the big knots and the church shoes and the Rolex and the fucking this and the fucking going and doing this. It's all bollocks. You can't take it with you.
He makes that point just there, Neil. He says just a bit before, actually, he says estate and letting agents need to be resilient and have tough skin. We're always caught in the middle between the seller and buyer. And even if it's not our fault, we still get the blame. It's very true.
Choices.
But you know what? Talking about it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become weaker as a result of it, and that you're not going to be as resilient. Sometimes that talking about it gives you that extra shell, that extra bit of strength that you go out there and you were able to help other people talk about it.
I did a post about 2 years ago where I was sitting at my desk, and it wasn't a breakdown because I've done that. I've done the depression. I've done all that. It was just a mini, I'm really not doing well today. And I clicked on Face Live Book and I gave it real, and I was holding tears back. We've all been there before, guys. I was holding tears back, and all of a sudden the tears just went. They just went, and I was live, and I was like, oh, the response that you get from people. You know what? I'm a human being. I've got a heart. Yeah, I break other people. Yeah, I do stuff bad. Yeah, I do stuff wrong. Yeah, I piss people off. I'm only trying my best. And if we work on that premise, I'm only doing my best at everything that I do, whether it be today talking, me getting up, going to Marks and Spencer's to get Colin the Caterpillar or whatever it is. Everyone's got to have a Colin the Caterpillar or any
On
other
birthday, yeah.
Standard. Am I going to say hello to someone? My mum's got a beautiful saying here, guys. Please take it. If you can make 5 strangers smile a day, you have done what you were put on the earth to do. Fuck it. Why stop at 5?
Yeah.
Real talk, guys. And this is what we need. We need real talk. We need 3 guys who... the word legend and guru is used way too much. I'm not a fucking legend. I'm not a guru. I'm just someone who's an open book. I'm full of mistakes and full of wins. Come and take the wins. Come and take the mistakes. And that I've got the balls, the kahunas or the nuts or whatever it is to turn around and go, I've been broken. I ain't fucking going back. Anyone else that is there, get in touch with me. Anyone that's listening today, my name is Neil Giller. Killer with a G if you don't fucking pay. But come and find me. Come and find me. Because if you can't talk to your closest, your nearest, your dearest, I get that. Come and talk to someone that knows nothing about you and is totally non-judgmental. I don't care who you are or what you are. I'm here.
Neil,
Go on, Dave. Sorry.
I was just going to ask you, we've spoken a lot about blokes, and when we talk about our industry, we are predominantly horribly white male very often, and we don't give a thought to the other side sometimes. When we talk about depression and mental health, suicide rates amongst men are something that are always in the headlines. We're always thinking about, what is it? What's your view on that, Nelly? Are you speaking to men and women that get to that point that is an option for them?
I'm not downplaying it here in any shape or form, and thanks for splitting it, because there is a divide here. I think women talk a hell of a lot more between themselves, because it's how you doing, babe? Oh, you know what, babe, I'm a little bit broken back. You know, that's from Essex, by the way. Whereas men think it's, I'm going to use the word weakness, right? But I think that times are definitely changing. And you know what? I know they are, because when I'm having a conversation with my friends saying, oh, Nice shoes, nice top, bro. Oh, you're looking fine. Nice beard, nice trim. We didn't have that conversation 20 years ago.
Not without being labelled.
Exactly. But now, do you know what? If I see someone wearing a nice jacket, I love jackets. Someone wearing a nice watch or a nice pair of shoes, bro, you're looking fine today. And it's taken us time as the male species. I'm not disrespecting the women, so don't come at me, right? I think the women, it's rife. But if you look at these figures, they're a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. I think it's 20 or 30 men a day. I'm on a lot of mental health and anxiety Facebooks, and I see these people struggling. And even if it's a mate, how you doing? How are you? How you doing today? Even for 2, 3, 4 days. You know, I'm speaking to one guy at the moment that hasn't had a bet for 38 days. Do you know why I know that? Because I budded him. I don't know him. He lives in Scotland. I want you to ping me every day, bro. Every day you're clean, you ping me, bro. Every day he's done it. Day 37, day 38. I've got people with coke addictions, people that are addicted to marijuana, people that are addicted to drink are the same. What does it hurt me for me to tell them, check in with me, check in with me?
Neil, you know what you just said there really resonated in terms of that point. If that's absolutely, if that's true that there's 30 people dying a day, I mean, there's been times over the last year when, you know, the horror show that has been COVID, there haven't been that many people dying, and yet they have it as a daily stat, haven't they? Could you imagine if that was the update on the news every day? That focus in terms of what we should be looking at and trying to deal with.
I don't watch the news. I don't believe the hype.
Yeah.
Right? Meanwhile, I know what's going on. Tell me something. What number are we at with the people that we've lost in this pandemic? What number are we at? Over? Are we 100,000?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's well over.
Okay, but please don't think I'm being rude or downplaying it here. Let's talk about the ripple effect. 100,000 people died. How many people did those 100,000 people know?
It would be millions.
So if they knew 20 each,
yeah,
that's how many people have been affected by it.
Yeah.
So it's the ripple effect.
Yeah,
you know, and
that can be good or bad, can't it? As you're highlighting there, but that pay it forwards, that smile at somebody else, it goes whichever way. You know, good news travels fast, bad news travels faster.
Today's newspaper, yesterday's newspapers, today's fish and chip paper, I think is the terminology we're looking for. But you know what? It's something that needs to be outed, and there's always going to be a stigma about it. There's a stigma about racism. There's a stigma about fatism. There's a stigma about anything that you want a stigma about until people stand up and talk about it. You know, I'm very open, right? And I think it's a beautiful world that we live in, right? Whereby if I want to love someone of the same sex as me, you know what? That's seen as okay now. Well, you know what? If I want to love someone of a different color, that's okay as well.
But that, Neil, that's a perfect segue talking about loving someone, because Spencer Lawrence, who I do have a man crush on, has just obviously chimed in as well and saying opening up about mental health challenges is a necessity. And I happen to know that Spencer's and his brilliant business at Paramount has just a wonderful focus on ensuring that his teams are in a good place like that. And
it can't be, what's the word I'm looking for? It can't be what's the word? You can't turn around to an employer and say, we're really good at dealing with mental health. And then when someone comes to you, turn around and say, stop being mental. Yeah.
We also need to sort of look at the sort of age that we live in with these on all the time, and the fact that you've got social media and you've got everything else. Let's face it, Neil, your great grandparents, when they got off the boat from Hodgky Plodge, wherever it was, and they didn't have the luxury of talking about things like this. They just had to hit the ground and start working to feed families. These days, our focus isn't necessarily whether we've got work or not, or whether we've got enough to feed our families. It's whether we're happy doing what we're doing. And our life focus is entirely different, and our values have been shaped by the society that we live in. We're a lot more almost superficially introspective, because we all see the world through this. And this is what I see every day. This is what
Minty, I don't think you wanted to show people the picture that's on there. Sorry. No, it's okay. you look really good in that
She's
PVC.
looking well, your mum, now, isn't she?
It is. You know what? We can have a laugh about it. And you know, that's where we need to be with it, right? That's where we need to be with it. We need to have it into the everyday speak, the everyday conversations. You know, I'm going to football this afternoon, and I sit with 60-odd thousand people. Don't worry about it. Well, actually, if I'm a Man City supporter, I sit with 67,000 people every single week. Morris, that one's for you. Happy birthday, by the way. But how many people there are suffering? You know, for me to go to football, it's an outlet. You'll appreciate this, Simon. I can scream, I can shout, I'm with my tribe, I'm with the same people who are going for the same things as me. And it's a and that's where we need to be. We need to be a tribe. We need to be talking about this. And you know what, the employees, the people that listen to your podcast, if you are doing something for mental health and you want to do something a little bit more, here's a plug. Come and find me. Come and find me, because I can help you build your team and earn money at the same time. There you go.
What's the best way to find you, Neil? Have you got a website?
Do you know,
what have you got?
Here's my lack of ego working. I don't have a website. You know, if you want to get in touch with me, people that know me know me. I'm word of mouth. Come and find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. Come find me on Instagram. Come find me. I'm all over the place. Twitter, and I give honesty. So if you want to join, come join. Don't get offended. If you want to speak to me, it's Neil Giller, Giller, or Giller, or Galler, or Niall, or Tosser,
Nelly.
or Nelly. For those of you that are wondering why I'm being called Nelly, that's my nickname. It's just, I've got other nicknames as well, but we can't use those. It's like the C word, Christmas. Don't mention Christmas, whatever you do. Please don't mention Christmas. Thanks. So that's it, at Neil Giller everywhere. If you need some help, just want an ear, come and speak to me. You know what? I don't charge for the first 3-minute conversation. After that, I'm an accountant. I tick. I'm joking. Seriously, come find me. I'm here.
Awesome. Neil, some words of wisdom to leave us with. If you could recommend 3 things that people could do every day. I mean, waking up with gratitude is one of them. What do we do to start to make that change?
Look after each other. Deep. Look after each other. And that includes when you're walking down the street and you see someone without a smile. Let's talk about that. Look after each other. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Do it. So if you see something going on and it's not right, interject. Do it on a nice level.
It's probably one of the hardest things, isn't it, Neil? Is we've all had those scenarios where nobody knew, or you hear somebody having a really dark moment, maybe even the ultimate thing, you know, they kill themselves, and they just didn't feel like they could interrupt, that they could get involved, and that horrible then regret that you didn't take that stance.
I've had the conversation. I mean, let's get honest here. I went out for lunch with my brother time before last. I went, "You all right, bro?" Yeah. And he smiled on his face, everything, etc., etc. Don't let your words be the last that someone hears. Don't let your words be the last that someone hears.
Yeah.
Right? Because that night, my brother tried yet again to take his life. Right? So that, our conversation, or me turning around and having a go at him or whatever, that could have been the last words. How would I have lived with that? You know, some people haven't been there before. So if my major tip for you today is don't let your words be the last that someone hears. And do you know what the other thing is as well? I'd rather listen to you than stand and listen to your eulogy. That's deep. That's fucking deep. I would rather listen to you than stand and listen to your eulogy. So if we haven't said anything in the last 50 minutes and that one's hit you, if you're still here, ladies and gentlemen, let that be it. Because I'm pretty sure that Simon and Minty will back me up on that. Pick up the phone. Speak to us.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, absolutely fantastic, Neil, what you're saying, what you're doing for people. There's not enough of it. And what I think's wonderful as well is, it's not like there's no great secret to this, is there? Everybody can do it, but you've got to get the ball rolling, got to get yourself in the right place.
You can always bend down and pick up nothing, lads. And I'm not explaining that. You can always bend down and pick up nothing. Yeah. We've got two hands. The other one's to help people. Careful, though. I'm going to leave you with this, right? And I know you're going to throw me out at some point. You've got to work out, right, who's in your circle and who's in your corner. There's a massive difference. Who's in your circle and who's in your corner. You are the average of 5 people that you surround yourself with. So who's in your circle and who's in your corner? Who's in your circle? Let's use a boxer analogy. All these hangers on, the people that are earning money off of you dripping, getting the shit beaten out of you.
Yeah.
They're different to the people that fix you up when you go back and sit down in round 10 and you've had the shit beaten out of you and you cut up, and they look after your cut and they make sure that they're thereafter when you've been beaten to pick you back up again and tell you you're the best human being that you can. Because I'm telling you, Sam, when you're beaten, the people in the audience don't know who you are anymore. The people in the corner are still there helping you, picking you up, making sure that you will come back.
Yeah.
So who's in your circle?
I'm off to watch Rocky, Neil.
On that note, I don't think there could be a better note to end this show on. Mr. Neil Giller, thank you very much. Continue to be our radiator, my friend.
There you are. Perfect.
Namaste, gentlemen. If there's anything I can do for anyone here or your two selves, you keep doing what you're doing. You're shining, gentlemen. Seriously, I appreciate you, and I know there's a lot of people out there that appreciate you as well doing what you do. Thank you. I know you laugh and you joke and you have a jovial side to you, but there's a word in our religion called mensch. Minty, I don't know, have you ever used the word mensch before in this forum?
Yeah, occasionally. I'm not sure I'm understood, but yeah.
Yeah, mensch is something that's bestowed upon one. You can't do it yourself. When someone calls you a mensch, it means you're a good human being. You've got a heart, and you go and do what you do for other people instead of you. Jane, thank you.
Mark Manning's a mensch. Mark Manning's a mensch. I am familiar with that term. I feel quite proud of myself now.
Do you know what? If you've been bestowed it, and I've watched you enough, I'll throw it on you. You're a mensch, Simon. Carry on doing it. And David, beyond a mensch, bubbler, beyond a mensch.
On that little Yiddish note, we're going to leave
on this show reach around. We're gonna finish it.
It's the worst thing about these podcasts. I can't reach out and give you a hug, but when I see you, Neil Giller,
Neil, you're going to get 3 points this afternoon. All right, mate.
Big love, everyone. Have a
good
fantastic day.
Cheers,
Enjoy
guys.
your day. Be well, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.